Picture this: a Marine stationed in the Pacific, surrounded by screens flashing radar logs, satellite feeds, and intelligence reports. The enemy is moving, and time is ticking. Instead of drowning in data, the Marine types a simple question into a system. What are the latest drone sightings in this sector? Within seconds, a clear, concise answer pops up, summarizing raw data from multiple sources: radar, drones, and prior reports, into plain English. This is no ordinary tool. It's a generative AI system, built on the same tech that powers ChatGPT, but fine-tuned for the battlefield. It doesn't just summarize, it flags anomalies, spots potential threats, and even suggests next steps. The Marines team can act faster, smarter, and with confidence, knowing the AI has their back. This is the reality of 2025, where the US military has moved beyond testing AI to deploying it in real operations. Marines in the Pacific are using these systems to analyze surveillance, identify risks, and make decisions under pressure. For example, a commander might ask the AI to summarize enemy movements over the past 12 hours. The system doesn't just spit out raw data. It weaves together satellite imagery, troop reports, and sensor logs into a narrative that's easy to understand. It's like having a hyper-intelligent assistant who never sleeps, always ready to cut through the noise. But here's the catch. While the AI is fast, it's the human who still makes the final call. Or do they? As we'll see, that line is blurrier than it seems. Within the blink of an eye, a clear, concise answer materializes. It's not just a regurgitation of data. It's a narrative, woven from disparate threads. Radar pings, drone footage, and even historical patterns, all summarized into plain, actionable English. This isn't just a fancy search engine. It's a generative AI system, a cousin to the ChatGPT you might use for casual queries, but fine-tuned, hardened, and militarized for the brutal realities of the battlefield. It doesn't merely summarize. It flags anomalies, highlights potential, threats no human eye might catch in the chaos, and even suggests immediate next steps. The Marines team, empowered by this hyper-intelligent battle buddy, can act faster, smarter, and with a confidence that stems from knowing this AI has their back, dissecting the unseen. This isn't a drill, it's the new reality, where the US military has transitioned beyond mere AI testing to full-scale deployment in active operations. Marines across the Pacific are leveraging these systems to decipher complex surveillance, pinpoint risks, and make decisions under the kind of pressure most of us can barely fathom. A commander, for instance, no longer needs to sift through reams of intelligence reports. They can simply ask the AI to synthesize enemy movements over the past half-day. And the system weaves together satellite imagery, troop dispatches, and sensor logs into an easily digestible narrative. It's like having a tireless, omniscient assistant, perpetually vigilant, always ready to cut through the deafening noise of combat. But here's the unsettling truth. While the AI is undeniably fast, the human is supposed to make the final call. Or do they? As we'll soon see, that critical line is far blurrier than we'd like to believe. This profound shift marks what military strategists are calling Phase 2 of AI integration into warfare. Phase 1 was rudimentary, focusing on isolated tasks like the automated identification of objects in drone footage, a useful but limited application. Now, however, AI is ascending to a far more significant role. It's actively shaping strategy, guiding commanders on where to deploy troops, which strategic areas to prioritize for surveillance, and how to allocate precious resources. It's no longer just a tool. It's evolving into a partner, a co-pilot, navigating the chaotic, unpredictable landscape of war. Think about the revolutionary impact this has on the game. Instead of commanders spending agonizing hours poring over reams of data, their cognitive load is dramatically reduced. They can dedicate their invaluable experience and intuition to high-level strategy, trusting the AI to handle the immense, often tedious, grunt work of data processing and preliminary analysis. But as this trust deepens and the AI's role expands, what unforeseen consequences might emerge? What happens when we become so reliant on these intelligent partners that we begin to cede our critical thinking? To truly grasp the implications, let's peel back the layers and explore the formidable technologies making this revolution possible. At the very core of this epochal transformation are large language models, LLMs, the same foundational technology that underpins systems like GPT-4, but meticulously customized and hardened for military applications. The landscape of defense technology is now a fiercely competitive arena, with giants like Palantir, Microsoft, and even a once hesitant OpenAI racing to develop AI systems capable of meeting the uniquely stringent and unforgiving demands of modern warfare. These are not your everyday chatbots designed for witty banter. They are formidable analytical engines, painstakingly trained on colossal military data sets. Everything from granular radar logs and live battlefield telemetry to highly classified intelligence reports. To ensure their integrity and security, these models are hosted in impregnable, secure environments, such as Microsoft's specialized Azure government cloud, or within the labyrinthine classified networks of the Department of Defense. A watershed moment arrived in March 2025 when OpenAI, a company that had previously steered clear of military contracts due to ethical concerns, made headlines by partnering with Anduril Industries, a prominent defense contractor. This collaboration signaled a profound shift in OpenAI's stance, unequivocally underscoring just how indispensable and critical generative AI has become to the very fabric of national security. These cutting-edge systems operate under a stringent framework of Department of Defense AI policies, a set of guidelines first meticulously drafted in 2023 and further refined in February 2025 under the Trump administration. Currently, they are categorized as assisted tools. What this means in practice is that they possess the extraordinary capability to analyze vast quantities of data and furnish sophisticated recommendations, but they are explicitly prohibited from executing autonomous actions. For instance, an AI might compellingly suggest repositioning a brigade to a specific ridgeline, basing its recommendation on an exhaustive analysis of terrain features, real-time enemy movement patterns, and historical combat data. However, for that troop movement to occur, a human officer, with their judgment and moral compass, must formally approve the action. This meticulously designed setup is ostensibly intended to maintain unwavering human control, to ensure that ultimate authority always rests with a human being. But as we delve deeper, a troubling question emerges. Is that control truly as robust and unyielding as it appears? What makes these systems truly revolutionary, and perhaps a little disquieting, is the way they are fundamentally altering the very flow of information across the battlefield. Imagine a scenario where a commander urgently needs to determine if a newly detected drone sighting corresponds to a known threat pattern. In the past, this would involve a laborious manual process of cross-referencing disparate reports and data points. Now, the AI doesn't just retrieve raw data. It instantly cross-references the sighting with historical patterns of enemy drone activity, current weather conditions, real-time geopolitical intelligence, and even publicly available social media, chatter that might hint at ground-level preparations. The result? A comprehensive, multi-layered report that is delivered with astonishing immediacy. This unparalleled speed is an absolute game-changer, granting forces the precious ability to stay not just one, but several steps ahead in rapidly evolving and intensely kinetic conflicts. But, as with all immense power, there comes an equally immense risk. The deeper we embed these artificial intelligences into our most critical life and death processes, the more urgently we must confront the uncomfortable question of just how much genuine control we are unwittingly relinquishing. The Department of Defense, with an almost ritualistic cadence, loves to reiterate a reassuring mantra. There will always be a human in the loop. It's a comforting promise, a balm meant to soothe public anxieties and assure us that no cold, calculating AI will ever unilaterally make a decision that carries the ultimate cost of human life, devoid of human oversight. But let's bravely pull back the curtain on this well-rehearsed narrative. In the searing crucible of high-stakes combat zones, where critical decisions must often be rendered in mere seconds, how much true oversight can a human genuinely exercise? Heidi Schierholz, a leading AI scientist at the Perceptive AI Now Institute, articulated this stark reality with unnerving clarity in a recent interview with MIT Technology Review. When an AI system processes a staggering thousands of data points and generates a complex recommendation in a fraction of a second, no human being, no matter how brilliant or experienced, can possibly audit its intricate reasoning in real time. It's akin to being asked to meticulously fact-check a 500-page book while simultaneously sprinting a 100-meter dash, an impossible task. Here's where the illusion truly begins to fray. On paper, every single AI recommendation, whether it's a strategic troop movement or a targeted drone strike, requires the formal sign-off of a human officer. Yet, in practice, the sheer, overwhelming volume and Byzantine complexity of the AI's analytical output can easily overwhelm even the most astute and seasoned minds. Imagine a commander in a bustling, high-pressure command center, their screens ablaze with a ceaseless cascade of alerts and data streams. The AI, with its cold, efficient logic, flags a potential threat and instantaneously suggests a proportional response. There is simply no time, literally no seconds to spare, to meticulously delve into the thousands, perhaps millions, of variables the AI weighed and processed. The precise troop dispositions, the nuanced interpretation of satellite imagery, the subtle shifts in weather patterns, the aggregated intelligence from countless sensors, and so much more. The commander, under immense duress, grants approval. Why? Because the AI has proven itself right before. It has saved lives, predicted enemy moves, and delivered victories. They trust the AI implicitly. But are they truly in control, exercising independent judgment? Or are they, in essence, merely rubber-stamping the machine's complex, opaque decision? This profound tension is what experts soberly refer to as the illusion of human in the loop. The Defense Innovation Board, a body dedicated to advising the Pentagon, issued a stark warning in 2024: an over-reliance on black box AI models, systems whose internal reasoning is so complex that even their developers struggle to fully explain how they arrive at their conclusions, could inevitably lead to commanders being reduced to mere figureheads, approving decisions they genuinely do not and cannot fully comprehend. This isn't merely a military conundrum. It's a deeply human one. Think about how readily we trust our GPS directions, following them blindly into unfamiliar neighborhoods, rarely questioning the underlying algorithms. Now, amplify that uncritical trust to decisions concerning troop movements, drone strikes, or the deployment of advanced weaponry. What transpires when our deep-seated trust in AI overrides our fundamental critical thinking? The stakes, in this context, could not possibly be higher. Now let's turn our attention to a less obvious, yet equally perplexing and critically important issue: how generative AI is, quite literally, shattering the long-standing rules of classified information. Historically, the arduous task of tagging data as classified or unclassified rested squarely on the shoulders of human intelligence analysts, a painstaking manual process. But generative AI is fundamentally flipping this venerable model on its head. These systems possess the astonishing ability to ingest vast quantities of seemingly unclassified, publicly available data. Mundane public satellite images, widely disseminated news reports, open-source social media feeds, and, through sophisticated synthesis, extrapolate and generate insights that would traditionally be considered top-secret, highly sensitive intelligence. This perplexing phenomenon, colloquially termed classification by compilation, is rapidly becoming a monumental headache for the Pentagon, creating entirely new categories of information that defy existing protocols. Consider this practical example. An AI might meticulously analyze open-source satellite imagery, cross-reference it with fragmented, seemingly innocuous troop movement reports gleaned from public sources, and then, with alarming accuracy, predict an enemy's next major strategic move. That prediction, born from publicly available information, could be supremely sensitive, capable of altering the course of an entire conflict. Yet, there exists no clear, universally accepted protocol for precisely how to classify such an insight. How do you retroactively classify something that was compiled from unclassified parts? Companies like Palantir and Microsoft are feverishly developing advanced tools to automate this classification process, leveraging sophisticated probabilistic models trained on immense, sensitive datasets. But in the absence of robust, standardized rules and oversight, the entire process remains patchy, inconsistent, and dangerously prone to error. The Pentagon is currently drowning in a tidal wave of data, literally terabytes pouring in daily from an ever-expanding array of drones, satellites, and ground sensors, and AI is generating actionable insights from this deluge faster than any conceivable number of humans could ever hope to review them. This predicament raises a fundamental, almost philosophical question. In this new AI-driven information age, who ultimately decides what remains secret? If an AI's generated summary contains highly sensitive insights, but no human analyst has the time or capacity to manually flag it as classified, what are the catastrophic repercussions if that information inadvertently leaks? In our daily lives, we grapple with strikingly similar challenges concerning data privacy. Think about how seemingly benign apps relentlessly collect and analyze our digital behavior, often without clear oversight or our full comprehension. Now transpose that same fundamental challenge onto a battlefield, where a single unclassified leak, a fleeting piece of insight, could irrevocably compromise an entire covert operation, costing lives. The military establishment is racing to adapt, to devise new frameworks and protocols, but the relentless pace of AI innovation is truly unforgiving, and the stakes, unequivocally, are life and death. AI's role in warfare has embarked on a truly remarkable climb up the organizational ladder, a journey light years away from its humble beginnings in 2017, when Project Maven merely utilized rudimentary computer vision to spot objects in drone footage. Back then, AI was fundamentally a tactical tool, a digital assistant helping analysts process endless streams of video feeds. Today, however, it has majestically ascended the chain of command, now directly influencing operational decisions that intricately shape the very fabric and outcome of entire missions. According to a groundbreaking March 2025 report from Georgetown University's prestigious Center for Security and Emerging Technology, AI is no longer just assisting. It is actively aiding commanders in live operations, suggesting nuanced troop movements, precisely identifying emerging threats, and comprehensively analyzing battlefield conditions in real time, with an unprecedented speed and accuracy. This elevation is nothing short of seismic. AI isn't just crunching numbers or cataloging objects. It's helping to dictate the precise outcome of battles, contributing to the very strategic chess moves of war. For instance, during a complex Pacific operation, an AI might compellingly recommend prioritizing surveillance over a particularly strategic island, basing its assessment on a complex interplay of localized weather patterns, predicted enemy activity, and historical strategic data. This kind of nuanced, high-level strategic input was once exclusively the domain of seasoned, battle-hardened generals. the culmination of decades of experience and intuition. But now, machines are weighing in, their cold, hard logic influencing the direction of entire campaigns. Looking ahead, the military is already actively exploring the development of agentic AI systems, those capable of acting independently within defined parameters, and highly personalized AI models that can adapt to the unique decision-making style and preferences of an individual commander. These sophisticated technologies are already making inroads in civilian applications. Think of AI assistants that seamlessly learn your habits and anticipate your needs. And they are now being piloted, with meticulous caution, for defense applications. But here's the critical rub. As AI climbs higher and higher up the hierarchical structure, the lines of accountability become increasingly blurred, almost imperceptibly so. The Trump administration's pronounced push for fewer restrictions on AI development and deployment, announced in early 2025, champions the urgent argument that speed and unbridled innovation are absolutely critical to maintaining a technological edge over formidable adversaries like China and Russia. Yet, paradoxically, loosening oversight could inadvertently pave a dangerous path for AI to assume even greater responsibility, to become more autonomous, more influential, and potentially more perilous. In our own lives, we've witnessed how automation, from self-driving cars navigating our roads to smart homes managing our environments, can evoke a complex mix of empowerment and unsettling unease. Now imagine that intricate dance of control and surrender transposed to a war zone, where a single misstep, a solitary miscalculation, could cost countless lives, ignite international incidents, or inadvertently trigger unforeseen escalations. How high, we must profoundly ask, should AI be permitted to climb the chain of command before we, as a global society, collectively declare, "That's far enough"? The burgeoning race to dominate military AI isn't simply a governmental endeavor. It's a high-stakes, private sector showdown, a technological arms race waged by corporations. Palantir Technologies, a company steeped in data analytics, is leading the charge, offering sophisticated platforms that integrate with astonishing seamlessness into military data systems, automating an astonishing breadth of tasks from predictive threat detection to deeply nuanced intelligence analysis. Microsoft, leveraging the robust infrastructure of its Azure government cloud, is vigorously constructing generative AI models meticulously tailored for defense, trained on highly classified datasets to underpin critical functions like logistics, precision targeting, and strategic planning. And then there's OpenAI, a company that, in a truly surprising pivot, forged a groundbreaking partnership with Anduril in March 2025, committing to integrate its cutting-edge models directly into the very fabric of battlefield systems. These private sector titans are propelling innovation forward at a truly breakneck speed, their financial incentives often aligning with the imperative of national security. However, their burgeoning influence in such a sensitive domain raises profound ethical questions that demand immediate scrutiny. Who, for instance, bears the ultimate responsibility for ensuring the transparency and explainability of these complex AI systems? How do we painstakingly align the corporate imperative for profits with the critical, often life-and-death imperatives of military ethics? In our own daily lives, we've witnessed firsthand how tech giants wield immense power, shaping not just how we communicate, but how we think, how we consume information, and even how we perceive reality. Now, these same powerful entities are actively shaping how wars are fought, how peace is pursued, and how global power dynamics are reshaped. The groundbreaking partnership between OpenAI and Anduril, for example, injects cutting-edge AI directly into autonomous systems that could operate with minimal human intervention. But this also inextricably ties a for-profit company, driven by shareholder value, to decisions that carry global catastrophic consequences. It serves as a stark, urgent reminder that technology never exists in a vacuum. It is always inextricably shaped by the people who build it, the organizations that deploy it, and the underlying incentives that drive its creation and application. Here's the part that keeps ethicists and strategists awake at night: the unseen risk for which no one is fully prepared. What happens when AI gets it profoundly, catastrophically wrong? Generative AI, for all its extraordinary capabilities, excels at pattern recognition and data synthesis, but it is demonstrably not infallible. It inherently lacks human judgment, the nuanced understanding of context, and crucially, moral reasoning. A single flawed dataset used for training, a misread satellite image in a moment of crisis, or an inherent bias embedded deep within its input parameters could lead to a catastrophic recommendation, like targeting an entirely wrong location, resulting in unimaginable collateral damage. Human Rights Watch and the Campaign to Stop Killer Robots have issued dire, consistent warnings that an over-reliance on AI for lethal decisions risks irrevocably detaching accountability from human actors. Even if a human commander signs off on an AI's recommendation, did they truly understand the intricate, opaque logic that led to that specific conclusion? Could they have reasonably audited it in real time? This isn't just a minor technical glitch. It's a fundamental structural flaw in the very paradigm of modern warfare. Imagine a civilian application, say, a medical diagnosis tool that gives a wrong recommendation, leading to misdiagnosis or mistreatment. Now, scale that chilling scenario to a battlefield, where a single, incorrect AI-driven decision could mean the tragic loss of countless civilian lives, the escalation of a conflict, or even unintended nuclear exchanges. Who then is ultimately accountable? Is it the commander who, under immense pressure, approved the AI's suggestion? Is it the anonymized developer who meticulously built the intricate model, perhaps years prior? Or is it the sprawling corporation that sold the system, driven by quarterly profits? These profoundly unsettling questions mirror our own struggles with integrating powerful, often opaque technologies into our daily lives. Think of autonomous cars facing ethical dilemmas on the road, or AI hiring tools that, unbeknownst to their users, amplify existing societal biases. The difference, however, is stark and undeniable. In war, the stakes are infinitely, terrifyingly higher. The US military's rapidly escalating embrace of generative AI is not an endpoint. It is merely the genesis of a profoundly transformative era. With geopolitical tensions simmering and adversaries like China and Russia pouring staggering billions into their own AI research and deployment, the Pentagon is driven by an existential imperative to maintain an undeniable technological edge. But this relentless rush, this unyielding pursuit of advantage, comes with profound, unavoidable trade-offs. How do we, as a global society, ensure meaningful human oversight in the face of hyperspeed combat, where decisions must be made in milliseconds? Should AI ever truly influence decisions that could directly result in the taking of human lives, even indirectly? And how do we rigorously prevent the slow, insidious creep towards fully autonomous weapons, a line the international community has long vehemently opposed as an ethical red line? This is Phase 2 of military AI, a sweeping transformation that fundamentally redefines power, warfare, and perhaps most importantly, accountability. It's no longer just about the technological prowess of machines. It's about who ultimately gets to decide the true cost of conflict and who bears the burden of its consequences. In our own lives, we face strikingly similar questions. How much do we unquestioningly trust the algorithms that subtly guide our choices, curate our information, and even shape our perceptions of reality? The military's perilous journey with AI serves as a powerful, unsettling mirror for our own, reminding us of the delicate, crucial balance we must strike between unbridled innovation and profound ethical responsibility. What can we, as individuals, navigating an increasingly AI-driven world, truly take from this seismic shift in warfare? The rise of AI on the battlefield teaches us a profound, inescapable lesson: that while technology possesses an almost godlike capacity to amplify our abilities and extend our reach, it simultaneously demands an unwavering vigilance from us. Whether we are discussing a distant battlefield or the intimate landscape of our daily lives, we are ethically bound to question the systems we implicitly rely on. Don't simply trust the algorithm because it's convenient or efficient. Ask how it works, who built it, what biases it might unknowingly carry, and what crucial context it might inevitably miss. Stay curious, stay relentlessly critical, and never, ever let the allure of convenience or efficiency override the fundamental human imperative of accountability. That, my friends, is how we ensure that technology remains a tool that serves us, rather than a master that subtly dictates our fate. So, what do you think? How much should we truly trust AI in high-stakes decisions, whether they determine the fate of nations in war or simply guide our choices in our everyday lives? Share your thoughts below. Let's keep this vital conversation going. Wishing you good health, sharp thinking, and an unyielding curiosity in these rapidly evolving times. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that challenge, inspire, and illuminate the unseen forces shaping our world.